This episode is sponsored by Big Fish Bail Bonds. Big Fish Bail Bonds is your first choice in bondsmen. We are located 3 blocks away from the Sedgwick County Jail in Wichita, Kansas. We accept all major credit cards and we accept payment plans on big bonds with no collateral in some cases. Find us at bigfishbailbonds.us or give us a call at 316-262-4100. Big Fish Bail Bonds. Big or small, we release them all.
Back Home Media.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Kansas Missing and Unsolved podcast. I'm your host, Ricky Chabruggi, up here in Kansas, and joining me down there in Arizona is Derek Rutherford. How you doing, Derek?
Doing good, man. How you doing?
Not too bad. I wish I was watching my Cowboys game, but that's okay.
There's a lot of people here. Usually on Thursday Night Football, we have a slim audience. 44 people here right now.
That's sweet. Thank you guys for being here, every one of you. And share us out so we can get another 44 more in here.
Kelly Oppoff in the house. Chris
Hey, Kelly.
Unruh,
Hey,
Connie
Chris.
Judd.
Hey, Connie.
Alan
Hey,
Dodson.
Ellen. Hey, Roxanne. Hey, Robert.
That's true.
And Esther. All right.
Awesome. Packed house.
Sweet.
So what's been going on, man?
Not a whole lot. Just working and recovering from Christmas and all that good stuff. Hope everybody had a good Christmas out there and got to spend time with family and stuff, eat some good food and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Hey, Don, how you doing?
I was sick. Basically for the last 2.5 weeks, I've had the flu. And it's been rough, but feeling a lot better, still coughing a little bit, but other than that, doing a lot better. Been watching a lot of true crime stuff on Netflix. They have that new documentary, The Texas Killing Fields.
I've heard something about that. I mean, I don't have Netflix, but I've heard about it.
Yeah, I would let you share my password, but Netflix is like, they're not letting you do that anymore. They don't let you share your password with people that don't live in your house, but
really?
Yeah, lots of bodies down in those Texas woods down there, and really interesting documentary. But I got to tell you, man, like every time I watch a documentary, it seems like you find out there's just, I don't know, like how many cases have you watched a documentary or you read about and they end up solving it, say 15, 20 years later, but it's one of the first people they suspected and they've killed like 10 people in the last 20 years. And this is nothing against the cops because you have to be able to prove it. But I mean, so many times you see these documentaries and you're like, well, we thought it might have been him back in the 80s and we caught him in 2015. It's like, that's crazy that this person was killing from 80 to 2015 and we couldn't stop him. And the cops kind of knew it was him. It just goes to show you, like, it is really tough to you have to really prove somebody killed somebody.
Right.
Jordan says, just checking on the Cole Firestein case. Said he was his best friend growing up.
Yeah. We haven't covered Cole for a while. I haven't heard anything new or any kind of updates on him, but
right.
We'll see what we can find out and cover him on Tuesday's show.
Yeah. Thanks for hanging out, Jordan. Hopefully we can maybe Ricky can make some calls, see if we know Rodney in the house. Well, let's go ahead and get into some cases. We got a lot of show to cover. And this is going to be let's not be afraid to have a little bit of fun tonight, folks. It is the New Year's Eve show after all. This is the last show of 2022. So excited to be here with everybody. Go ahead and tell us about Angel.
Okay. Angel missing from Wichita, Kansas since August 3rd of 2022. She's 34 years old. She's 200 pounds, has brown hair and blue eyes. If you have any information regarding Angel's disappearance or you know her whereabouts, please call the Wichita, Kansas Police Department at 316-268-4181 or 316-268-4111 or KBI at 785-296-4017. See if we can get Angel located and back to where she needs to be. I was noticing on KBI today that there is a Luke McSparran on there that's missing from Wichita, the same exact date as her. He's 3 years old. So I want to find out more on Luke and see if that's maybe her son. There was no photo of him, but there was his name and information. But, I'd like to be able to, if he is her son, I'd like to get a photo of him and get him on her flyer.
They would have to be
Anybody could
related,
help me
wouldn't
out
they?
with
I
that.
mean, same day, same city.
Yeah. He's 3 years
And
old.
that's a very unique last name as well.
Yeah. So I'm suspecting in my mind that it might be her son. But I'd like to find out for sure. And if I can get a picture of him, I will definitely add him to the flyer for sure.
I feel like Tatum could help you figure that out. Jordan says it's been since 2019 March since he has seen Cole. Kelly from Moderator 2023. Hey, there we go.
There you go.
Everybody start getting their votes in. Prayers for all safe return. Prayer for everyone and their families. Thank you, Micah. Yeah. I mean, I'm guessing that they'd have to be related. We'll find out for sure. Hopefully we can find out by Tuesday because that would be great to put them together.
Yeah.
And that's been several months. She's been missing
since August. Yeah.
It's a little while. Long enough to be worried. It's been very cold since then. Tell us about Alan Ortega. We've covered him a few times, but obviously we want to get the word out still.
Yeah, he's missing from Dodge City, Kansas, July 12th of 2022. He's 63. He's 5'6", 190 pounds. Has gray or partial gray hair and brown eyes. If you have any information regarding Alan's disappearance or you know of his whereabouts, please call the Dodge City, Kansas Police Department at 620-225-8126 or the KBI at 785-296-4017. See if we can get Alan located and back to where he needs to be.
Yeah, that's definitely been a long time.
Yeah.
$63. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very worrisome. It's 2022, almost 2023. It's really hard if nobody's seen you for that long, unless you're completely out of the area. I don't know. Makes you wonder.
So I have to ask, what's the pink QR code for that's on there? I just
noticed
that.
.com.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the website.
Okay.
Dana Jane Bruce. Let's talk about her.
Yep, we talk about her every week, and we're going to keep talking about her every week until she's found. And she's missing from Sedalia, Missouri since October 4th, 2008. She was 23 when she went missing. She's now 37. She's 5'2", weighs 98 pounds, has brown hair and greener hazel eyes. She was last seen at her children's babysitter's home in Sedalia. She had left her children there earlier that day so she could go out for the evening. She returned at midnight and gave the babysitter more money and asked her to watch the children for the rest of the night. Dana was seen at Malone's Bar on Main Street with a young man driving a late model red Ford F-150 truck earlier on the night of her disappearance. She left with the man at 11:30 p.m. Police have identified that man. He traveled to Atlanta after her disappearance, and police questioned him about Dana's after he was arrested there on unrelated charges of marijuana possession and driving on a suspended license. Authorities have not named him publicly, but they are calling him a person of interest in her case. He told his questioners that he and Dana parted ways after they left the bar, and he never saw her after that. She left all of her belongings behind, including her hairbrush and toothbrush. She does not have any credit cards, debit cards, checking account, cell phone, or a car. Again, at the time of her disappearance, she was 23. She would now be 37. She's 5'2" and weighs 98 pounds. She has brown hair that was colored brown at the roots and black at the ends with red highlights and greener hazel eyes. She was last known to be wearing a black shirt with the word Rebel and silver lettering on the front and blue jeans. Excuse me. Dana has a tattoo of a teddy bear with wings and the name Dylan on her upper left arm. She is blind in her left eye. She has a 2-inch scar along her lower spine and a staple scar on her right shoulder. Her ears are pierced 1 time each. If you have any information regarding Dana's disappearance or you know of her whereabouts, please call the Sedalia, Missouri Police Department at 660-827-7823 or 660-826-8100 or the Missouri State Highway Patrol at 573-526-6178 or toll free at 866-362-6422 and see if we can help get Dana located and back to where she needs to be.
She's a tiny thing.
Yep. Oh, we got Andrea Lynn Vian Toman in the house tonight. Says she's sorry she hadn't been here for a while. She's been very busy. Understandable. Life does get busy once in a while.
Yeah.
And Ellen says, thank you so much, guys. You're very welcome. And Esther says, hello, Ricky and Derek. Hello, Esther.
Hello. And speaking of the new QR code, Ricky pointed out, that goes to go to kmupod.com or kansasmissingunsolved.com. From what I am hearing from the girl who handles the website, we're reaching about 300 people a month right now just on the website, and we don't really talk about the website very much. So that's really cool. Wow. That like 300 people are basically, I think, just finding it, Googling missing people in Kansas. So
that's cool.
Yeah, check out the website if you haven't seen it yet, and yeah, let us know what you want us to do as far as adding cases. We got a ton of cases on there right now, but we're always looking to add more. So go ahead and tell us about Joseph Mixon.
Okay, that was from here in Salina. Joseph Edward Mixon, missing from here in Salina, November 8th, 2022, so just almost coming up on 2 months. He's 29 years old. He's 5'9", 145 pounds. He has black hair and brown eyes. He does have tattoos on the front and side of his neck. You can kind of see him there in the photos there. If you have any information regarding Joseph's disappearance or you know of his whereabouts, please call the Salina, Kansas Police Department at 785-826-7210 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can't get Joseph located and back to where he needs to be.
Yeah.
Hopefully he's okay where he is, but see if we can get him found and make sure he's okay.
Yeah. And it's just been ungodly cold in Kansas, man.
Yeah, it has. Yeah, Connie, I hope we can find Kenny very soon as well. I read that almost backwards.
Yeah.
Been that kind of day.
Yeah. Well, you already did one show, so
yeah.
You're all.
Yeah.
It's about time for you to walk the dogs and go to bed, man.
Pretty close.
Let's talk about Lamia.
Lamia. I found out it's Lamia.
Okay, beautiful name. Yeah. Lamia Schaefer.
Yeah, I've talked to her mom off and on, since Lamia's been missing, and she is really, really distraught with worry about Lamia, wondering where she's at, and because there just hasn't been anything come out, and that's why I want to keep covering her until something comes out and we can find her. But Lamia Schaefer's been missing from Wichita since September 20th of this year. She was 13 when she went missing. She's now 14. She's 5'4", 170 pounds, black hair, brown eyes. She was last seen in the 6900 block of West El Standro Circle in Wichita. She does have a learning disability, and she does suffer from some mental health issues. Again, she was 13 when she went missing. She's now 14. She's 5'4", weighs 170 pounds. She has black hair and brown eyes. If you have any information regarding Lamia's disappearance, or you know of her whereabouts, please call the Wichita, Kansas Police Department at 316-660-9452 or 316-660-9456 or 316-268-4111 or 316-263-6011 or the KBI at 785-296-4017. And, like I say, see if we can't get them bushes shaken and get some information out on where Lamia's at and see if we can't get her found and brought back home. Because, like I say, her mom is just distraught with worry about Lamaya because there's been absolutely nothing. So hopefully we can help that out.
Oh, it's awful, man.
Yeah.
It doesn't take long for your mind to go to dark places too.
It does. It does.
The learning disability thing, anytime I see a flyer where you're not sure if the subject on the flyer is 100% aware of what the choices they're making,
Right.
It's very scary that somebody could be manipulating somebody.
Yeah. And I agree with Dawn. She said, makes me so sad that there is not more coverage on Lamaya's case. And I do agree with you. I think Annette Loss has been the only one that's been keeping her in the news. But like I said, we've been covering her here and we're going to keep doing that. But, somebody somewhere has got to know something. It's just a matter of doing the right thing and making that phone call.
Yeah. That's scary. That's terrible.
Yeah.
And then she's had a birthday her mom had to go through. Her birthday
Christmas,
passing, yeah.
Christmas, Thanksgiving, her
And she's
birthday.
14. She needs to be in school right now,
Yeah. Yeah, definitely
That's rough.
does.
Well, we should bring her up each week, man. I mean,
Yeah. Yep.
well, anybody in Wichita area has any information, contact the numbers on the flyer. That's very, very serious situation right there.
Right. Yep. And Don says, yes, God bless you both in the net for keeping our information out there. Thank you. You're very welcome. 'Cause I definitely want to see her found back home safe.
Yeah, that's terrible, man. She is young.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Lexi.
Okay. Alexis, gosh, I can't talk tonight. Alexis Lexley Yvonne Lord, missing from Kansas City, Kansas on September 16, 2022. She's 17 years old. She's 5'2", 100 pounds, blonde or strawberry hair and brown eyes. She went missing between 9 a.m. and 1 p.m. on September 16th. She has no identification, but she does have her cell phone that works on Wi-Fi only. And there has not been any activity on her social media since she went missing. And she's 17. She's 5'2", weighs 100 pounds. She has dark blonde, light brown hair and brown eyes. Her nose is pierced, and she does frequently wear the bonnet that's pictured above there on the right. If you have any information regarding Alexis's disappearance, her whereabouts, please call the Kansas City, Kansas Police Department at 913-596-3000 or KBI at 785-296-4017. See if we can't get Alexis located and back to where she needs to be, because it's been some months now.
Yeah.
Almost as long as Lamaya. So it's got to get these kids found and back to where they need to be.
It's definitely very scary that neither one of them have any activity on social media as well.
Right. That makes it even more concerning, I think, because most of these kids, when they go missing, they still stay pretty active on their social media, whether it's TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook. They still stay active in some form.
And not just to have radio silence after somebody posts all the time, that is very alarming.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can get some.
I say it makes it even more concerning when they go dark like that. I mean, let's hope they're found.
Let's talk about Destiny Jackson.
Yeah. And here's another one that we covered before. But again, I do want to get her out there again. She's missing from El Dorado, Kansas since July 10th, 2022. She is 15 years old. She's 5'5", weighs between 100 and 105 pounds, has blonde hair and blue eyes. It's believed that she may still be in El Dorado, or she may be in Wichita or Heston, Kansas, or up in the Topeka, Kansas area. If you do see her, do not approach her. Instead, immediately call law enforcement. And she's 15 years old. She's 5'5", weighs between 100 and 105 pounds. She does have blonde hair and blue eyes. If you have any information regarding Destiny's disappearance or you know her whereabouts, please call the El Dorado, Kansas Police Department at 316-321-9120 or KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can't get Destiny located and back to where she needs to be, because it's been almost half a year. So need to get her found and back to where she needs to be.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Rodney. Rodney says, I watch every time you guys are on. Extremely important program you guys do, and I respect it. Well, thank you. Greatly appreciate that.
Yeah, and this show wouldn't be of any power. It wouldn't have any power if people didn't watch it. So thank you.
Right. Watch it and share it and all that good, yeah.
Yeah. Wow, we got a lot of youngsters. How far is El Dorado from Wichita? Like 30 minutes?
Yeah, it's pretty close. I'm not sure how far, but it's not too awful far.
I drove it once, but I don't remember.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about our friend Alexander Perez.
Okay. He is missing from Ulysses, Kansas since December 1st, 2020. He was 35 when he went missing. He's now 37. He's 5'11", weighs 235 pounds, has black hair that he shaves nearly bald and brown eyes. He had called a family member on the telephone on December 1st and said he'd be coming over to do laundry. He never arrived at that family member's home, and he has not been heard from or seen by family or friends since then. He had been staying with family and friends prior to his disappearance. It's believed he may still be in the local Ulysses area, or he may be in Garden City or surrounding area. And at the time of his disappearance, he was 35. He's now 37. He's 5'11" and weighs 235 pounds, has black hair that he shaves nearly bald and brown eyes. He does have a tattoo of a bumblebee on his face underneath his left eye. He has Perez tattooed on one of his arms. He has a tattoo of a cross on a chain across his chest. If you have any information regarding Alexander's disappearance or you know of his whereabouts, please call the Grant County, Kansas Sheriff's Office at 620-356-3500 or the Ulysses, Kansas Police Department at 620-356-4600 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can't get Alex located and back to where he needs to be. I know his family is looking everywhere for him, trying to find him. And they just want to get him found and brought home.
Yeah. We do have the audio from his last voicemail. He did send our source. Here we go.
I don't know, man. I'm supposed to be going back early morning to go get some shit and then go get some other stuff down there and bring it back down here, but I don't even know, man. It's been wild down here. It's been crazy. Fucking been held at gunpoint and robbed and tried to beat me up. It's a bunch of crazy shit going on in GC, man.
Yeah, it's such an ominous call to hear, considering he's been missing as long as he has.
Yeah.
Just over 2 years now.
Just right at it, yeah.
Yeah.
Haven't seen Irene in a while.
Right.
They're saying it's a 30 or 20-minute drive.
Yeah, between El Dorado and Wichita. So it's not too bad.
Kelly says Alexander needs to be found whatever way it is. It's been so long. Even though I feel it won't be a happy ending, he still deserves closure. Exactly. Mm-hmm. Whatever the situation is, it needs to come out.
Yeah, definitely.
It's just been too long. Let's go ahead and talk about James.
Okay. Missing from Junction City, Kansas on September 12, 2022. He's 15, 6 foot tall, 6 foot 1 inches tall, 185 pounds, blonde or strawberry hair and green eyes. It's believed he may be in the Manhattan, Kansas area or the Council Bluffs, Iowa area. And he's 15 years old, 6 foot to 6 foot 1, weighs 185 pounds, has blonde or strawberry hair and green eyes. If you have any information regarding James's disappearance or you know of his whereabouts, please call the Junction City, Kansas Police Department. It's 785-762-5912 or KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can get James located and back to where he needs to be.
Yeah.
And Micah says AJ's family needs answers. Pray for them daily. Definitely. Most definitely. Agree with that 110%.
Let's go ahead and go to Oklahoma and talk about Haley.
Okay. This is actually the second flare. The first one, I had different pictures at the bottom of a couple of females that were seen on their Ring doorbell and a vehicle that was seen on their Ring doorbell that they were trying to ID and things like that, which they've done and spoke to those individuals. So her mom asked me to remove them, so I added a couple more pictures of Haley at the bottom. But she went missing from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma on December 23rd of this year. She's 19. She's 5'6", weighs 175 pounds, brown or blonde hair and blue eyes. And she left the family home located in the 5800 block of Shiloh Boulevard under suspicious circumstances at 11:35 p.m. on December 23rd. It's unknown at this time who she left with, and she is considered vulnerable. And again, she's 19. She's 5'6", weighs 175 pounds. She has light brown or blonde hair and blue eyes. If you have any information regarding Haley's disappearance or you know of her whereabouts, please call 911 immediately or call the Oklahoma City, Oklahoma Police Department. Their Southwest Division at 405-297-1177. See if we can't get Haley located and back to where she needs to be.
Yeah.
Hopefully she's okay and everything, but let's get her found and back home.
Yeah, that sounds a little. So the Ring doorbell thing, that was just her mom told you just to get off of not basically just that wasn't the right trail, or
apparently so. She said they'd ID'd him, talked to him, so they were no longer their pictures were no longer needed on the flyer, and she said go ahead and remove them. So I did. She removed them. She had made a flyer as well before I got a hold of her and had their photos on her version of the flyer, and she removed from hers as well. So, but still got to get her found and back home.
Yep. Let's go to Wyoming for a little bit. Let's talk about Kyle.
All right. Let's see. Kyle J. Ellis missing from Gray Bowl, Wyoming since January 8th of 2018. So this has been a few years. He was 29 when he was missing. He's now 33. He's 6 foot tall, weighs 190 pounds, has brown hair and hazel eyes. He'd been staying at the Bear Lodge in Bighorn Mountains and spoke to his father on the phone. He had then got a ride from Bear Lodge to Gray Bowl with a woman who gave him $20. He's never been heard from again. He's described as very religious and a frequent traveler. He's been known to go off on religious journeys for up to 2 weeks at a time and has traveled as far away as the West Coast and Texas. During his previous trips, however, he's always kept in touch with family and he's never been gone for this long. He does not usually carry any electronics or identification. At the time of his disappearance, Kyle was 29. He'd now be 33. 6 foot tall, weighs 190 pounds, has brown hair and hazel eyes. Kyle has multiple tattoos, including a sleeve on his left forearm, a pinup girl on his shoulders, and the phrase sex, drugs, and rock and roll on his abdomen. He does not generally do weather conditions, always wears a white t-shirt. If you have any information regarding Kyle's disappearance, you know his whereabouts, please call the Sheridan County, Wyoming Sheriff's Office at 307-672-3455 and see if we can help get Kyle located and back to where he needs to be.
The whole doesn't carry electronics or identification. That's a little, you don't see many people like that these days.
Yeah. Yep. Just hope he's okay wherever he's at.
Yeah. Kind of sounds like he kind of just walked to his own beat, you know?
Yeah.
Because you think about it, like I just got my kids' phones, and my kids are 6 and 8. That's probably a little too young to have a phone, but I can see everything they do on it. But I don't know, man. I sit there and think about it. I'm like, what if they get separated from me? They have no way to get in contact with me. So I
Right.
just got phones, man. It's like 2023 almost. It's important to have a phone, man. It's a tool. Let's go to Texas.
All right. And this one I was messaged about, and she was like, I know this isn't a Kansas case, but could you get it out there? And I'm like, yeah, I can do that. So I did. It's Larissa Renee Eichenhorst, missing from Moody, Texas since Christmas Day of this year. She's 17. She's 5'2", weighs 190 pounds. She has brown shoulder length hair and brown eyes. She was last seen leaving her home in the Moody area of Bell County, Texas. And she's 17, 5'2", weighs 190 pounds, has shoulder length, brown hair, and brown eyes. If you have any information regarding Larissa's disappearance or you know of her whereabouts, please call the Bell County, Texas Sheriff's Office at 254-933-5412 or your local law enforcement agency and see if we can't get her located and back to where she needs to be.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. Now I was going to address something too, real quick, as far as we do out of state cases and stuff like that, and like I said, with like this particular one, like I said, was messaged to me in my inbox and said, I realize this isn't Kansas, but can you cover her? And I'm like, yeah, sure. And we do that not only to help get the word out, but you just never know where these folks are going to be found. I mean, there was a case here really recently where they had found a 14-year-old girl in Wichita that a guy that lived in Wichita had been talking to online, and she lived in Arkansas, and he drove to Arkansas and picked her up, took her back to Wichita, and they found her hiding in his closet. So, I mean, you just never know where people are going to wind up. So I don't mind covering out of staters at all.
When I lived in Garden City the first time, because I'm from Elkhart, but when I lived in Garden City the first time, it was right after 9/11, 2001, 2002. We used to always go to this restaurant that was attached to a hotel. It's still there today, and now the restaurant's a Mexican restaurant, but it used to be an all-night diner, and it was like the place to go get coffee in the middle of the night. And one night we went there, and there was police everywhere, and long story short, this is like 2001. This girl from Garden City met a guy online. He from California. He somehow got to Garden City. They met at that. He took her to that hotel room. He killed her, put her underneath the mattress, and left. And long story short, they basically found out she was there because a body eventually gives you signs that it's underneath the bed,
I think I saw something about that.
2001 internet meetup, and this high school girl was, murdered, choked, and put underneath a mat. They caught the guy because he signed into the. But I mean, you're right, Ricky. You have no idea who you were talking to.
Right.
And this is 2001. Imagine the kind of tricks people know now. It's like. So yeah, Garden City is a little tiny little heartland town, but yeah, it happened right there, 2001, man.
Yeah, there was another one. I can't remember how many years ago, but it's been during the time I've been doing Kansas Missing and Unsolved. But it was and I never did find out the young lady's name. Of course, I'd probably barely none of my business, but it was a teenage girl that had ran away from Tulsa, Oklahoma, and they found her in a hotel here in Salina with two guys. So, I mean, it's crazy. You just never know where people are going to wind up. No matter what state they're from or anything, they can end up anywhere. So, that's why we do what we do.
Not even just kids. Any human being. There are people out there that see you as something they can sell.
Yeah.
And you got to be very careful when you're out in the world, especially when you're talking to people online. You just got to be careful. Let's talk about Jesse Brown. August 5th, 2022.
Alrighty. Missing from Great Bend, Kansas. Like you said, since August 5th of 2022. He's 14, 5'7", 155 pounds, black hair and brown eyes. If you have any information regarding Jesse's disappearance, you know his whereabouts, please call the Great Bend, Kansas Police Department at 620-793-4120 or the KBI at 785-296-4017. See if we can't get Jesse located and back to where he needs to be.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, and I wish I had more information on his disappearance, but like I've said, we don't always get information as far as where they were last seen, what neighborhood they were last seen in. I mean, sometimes not even a clothing description. I mean, which would help a lot too at times, but sometimes we just don't get that stuff. I wish we did, and make things a lot better. It'd be more complete to me, a more complete flyer if we had those kinds of details. But like I said, sometimes we just don't get them.
Do you know when you made this flyer?
It was back in August. I know that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So yeah, it's been a while.
Have we covered it before?
I think we did at least once. I think. I remember the first flyer, or the first version of his flyer, I did just have the picture on the right. Eventually, I got the one on the left, but started out with the one just on the right.
Okay. Well, when I was getting ready to do the show, I have to upload all these flyers to the studio, and we do a bunch of flyers each week. And I was getting ready to delete all of last week's flyers, and my son Race was like, "Why are you deleting all those?" And I was like, "Oh, because we have like a whole new set of cases this week." And he's like, "Well, why don't you cover last week and this week?" And I was like, "Oh, buddy, there's too many missing people to cover everybody every week."
Oh, yeah.
He's like, "Really?" I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "There's a lot of people missing, buddy."
Yeah. We could literally do a show a night and not cover the same person twice, probably. Except for the ones we cover every show.
Yeah. I was like, there's a lot of missing people, man.
Yeah.
Well, let's continue this out-of-state trek here. Let's go to Missouri and talk about Lillian.
Okay. Yep. Lillian A. Bramer, missing from Boulevard, Missouri since August 25th, 2022. She is 34. She is 5'3". She weighs between 120 and 140 pounds. She has blonde hair and hazel eyes. She may go by her middle name, Alice. She's originally from Ovid, Michigan. It's believed she may be trying to make her way back to Ovid from Boulevard. And she's 34. She's 5'3", weighs between 120 and 140 pounds. She has short blonde hair, and she does sometimes wear wigs, and she does have hazel eyes. And you can see in the one photo there, she does have tattoos on her left arm. I don't have exact descriptions, but if I can get them, I'll add it. But you can see the tattoos there. If you have any information regarding Lillian's disappearance, or you know her whereabouts, please call the Boulevard, Missouri Police Department at 417-326-5298 or the Missouri State Highway Patrol at 573-526-6178, or their toll-free number is 866-362-6422, and see if we can't get Lillian located and back to where she needs to be.
In the most recent photo,
looks like
she may be going through some times right now.
Looks possibly, looks like it might be.
You never know what somebody's going through, but she's kind of wearing it on her face, in my opinion. She's kind of maybe needs, just in a rough spot in her life, She's tired.
Probably.
Hopefully, wherever she's at, she is safe.
Yeah.
Her tattoos look like they might be like either tree limbs or lightning or something.
Yeah, I really couldn't tell. It's really hard to tell looking at them. Wish I could have got a little bit tighter in on it, but yeah, it looks like it's lightning, tree limbs, something.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Well, with tattoos like that, she shouldn't be hard to spot.
Right. I mean, they're very prominent. You see them when you look. You see the tattoos up and down her left arm. So you would know her if you saw her.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully some information comes out about that.
Let's
Let's
hope
go
so.
ahead and talk about Steven Anderson. This looks like it's another
Right.
August case.
Yeah, missing from Rice County since August 9th, 2022. He's 30 years old, 6'1", 170 pounds, brown hair and hazel eyes. Wished I had more details, but unfortunately, it's one of the ones that I don't. If you have any information regarding Stephen's disappearance, or you know his whereabouts, please call the Rice County, Kansas Sheriff's Office at 620-257-2363 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can't get Stephen located and back to where he needs to be.
I feel like we definitely covered him in August.
I'm pretty sure we have.
Is Rice County, is that where like Ashley lives?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure on that one.
I think, is it by Lions?
It might be.
I have no idea. I need to get a map of Kansas. Let's go ahead and talk about Kaylee Alexander, tonight's featured case.
Okay. She's from Wichita, Kansas since May 5th of this year. She's 16. She's 5'7" to 5'8". She weighs between 140 and 150 pounds. She has brown hair and hazel eyes. Actually, she was 16 when she was missing. She's now 17. I have to update that. If you have any information regarding Kaylee's disappearance or you know her whereabouts, please call the Wichita, Kansas Police Department at 316-660-9452 or 316-660-9456 or 316-268-4111 or KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can't figure out where Kaylee is and get her back to where she needs to be.
Yeah, that's a long time ago. May.
Yeah.
She's like missing an entire school year almost. Half of one
Yeah.
at least.
Yeah, pretty much.
Wow. Well, hopefully some news comes out. That's been quite a while ago. It's a little scary.
Yeah. Definitely.
Let's talk about this is a case you sent me about 10 minutes before we went live.
Yeah. Yeah, because I couldn't find him on Missouri's or Kansas's databases, and then Tatum found him on the Missouri one. She said, "Yeah, he's there. And I was like, I can't find him, but she did. She found him. So. And I know I'm going to probably butcher this name, but I hope I don't. But it's Fasika Kinfei Tadell, missing from Weldon Spring, Missouri, since April 16th, 2022. He was 21 when he was missing. He's now 22. Don't have a height or weight on him. I'm still working on that, but he does have black hair and brown eyes. He was on his way from Orlando, Florida to Wichita to visit family when GPS showed his car suddenly stopped moving west of St. Louis. Stayed there for at least a day before moving again. Family was able to learn through the insurance company that someone had sideswiped Fasika on the highway in a hit-and-run accident. Tuk-tuk driver took the car to a lot and dropped Fasika off at a gas station nearby. That was on April 16th, and nobody has heard from him since then. Fasika left his clothing and laptop behind in the damaged car. His phone is not working, and as far as his family knows, he's not tried to call them or anyone on anyone else's phone either. Again, he was 21 when he was missing. He's 22, still working on the height and weight, has black hair and brown eyes. If you have any information regarding Fasika's disappearance or you know his whereabouts, please call the Wichita, Kansas Police Department at 316-268-4111 or Missouri State Highway Patrol at 573-751-3313 or 573-562-6178 or their toll-free number is 866-362-6422 and see if we can't help get Fasika located and back home to his family.
That is very sketchy.
Yeah.
Sideswipe.
Definitely interesting. Yeah. I knew there was some of us forgetting to pull tonight. Megan Fogelsong and Star Boomer. Thank you, Kelly. Add that to my list for Tuesday. Today has just been. I was telling Derek before the show, my work week has been, because of Christmas, my work week was all jostled up, and instead of being off today like I normally would have been, I ended up working a 7 to 4 today. So then I had a meeting after that. So I had to go to the meeting after that. And I was there for about an hour. So then I had to rush home, take care of my daughter, take care of my dogs, get everything pulled for not only this podcast, but the one that I did with Tatum at 7:30 this evening. So I had a lot to do, and I completely forgot about Megan and Star. So I've got them down for next week, for Tuesday.
Just a couple
So
of
I
days
do
away.
apologize. Been a very busy day.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about Dietrich.
Okay. Good old Dietrich Foster. He is missing from Independence, Kansas, since April 12th of 2020. He was 37 when he went missing. He's now 40. He's 5'9", 190 pounds, black hair and brown eyes. He was reported missing on May 12th. He was last seen around April 12th in Independence. KBI agents and detectives from the Independence Police Department are conducting the case as a homicide based upon findings during the investigation into his disappearance. Again, at the time of his disappearance, he was 37. He's now 40. He's 5'9", weighs 190 pounds, has black hair and brown eyes. If you have any information regarding Dietrich's disappearance or you know of his whereabouts, please call the Independence, Kansas Police Department at 620-332-1700 or the KBI at 785-296-4017. And there is a governor's reward of $5,000 for information leading to the arrest and conviction of those responsible for the disappearance and suspected murder of Dietrich Foster. So if you have any information at all, get that called in immediately. And see if we can't get Dietrich located and brought back home, preferably safe. But if the information that they have leads them to believe that there's foul play involved, and at least let's get him found and brought home for, where he could be laid to rest properly.
I showed my son Dietrich's flyer, and he asked about the red box, and I explained to him about the governor's reward.
Mm-hmm.
So then I showed him like 3 or 4 more flyers, and he goes, "How much is the reward for this one?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "How much is the governor offering to reward to find this person?" I was like, "Nothing." And he just didn't understand how one person, the governor, was going to get 5. And I was like, there's just not enough money and resource. I was like, I don't think you understand, son, how many people are missing. I was like, it's a problem. Son.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what their criteria would be for one case to warrant a governor's reward and one case not to. I mean,
I know this though. I know that if money wasn't an object, there would be a reward for everybody that was missing. I don't think it's
right.
It's just. It's just this thing. Like my son kind of didn't. He's only 8. He doesn't really understand. I was like, Dietrich's. It's awesome that Dietrich has a reward. I was like, but there's a lot of cases that people are just. There's no reward. There's no money in it. It's just people just want to find answers for their loved ones. So it's rough.
Yeah.
And it's kind of give you an idea.
Kind of give you an idea. Right now on KBI, they list 231 missing juveniles and 325 missing adults right now. Just in Kansas. That's just Kansas.
Yeah. And those are just the ones that are on paper.
Yeah, that's 556 right there in Kansas that are missing between kids and adults if you add the two numbers together. But that's a lot of missing people. And like you say, that's just the ones on paper, because there's some that haven't been reported yet for whatever reason. Things like that. So, I mean, that's a lot there. 231 juveniles and 325 adults.
Scary.
And that's as of right now. And of course, that number fluctuates when they're found and when more are added. So they go up and down all the time. But as of right now, that's what the numbers stand at.
Well, speaking of cases that don't have reward money but deserve them, I wish there was a reward for this case. But
it would be nice.
Sadly, we're just waiting for at least an update from somebody of any kind Any
Yeah.
kind of word on Kenny. Ricky's gonna tell you all about him.
Yeah. Kenny Rychek missing from Salina here in town since November the 4th, 2019. He was 69 when he went missing. He's now 72. He's 5'9", 175 pounds, has gray hair and blue eyes. He does sometimes use the last name Brown instead of his given name Rychek. He does suffer from diminished mental health capabilities, and he's on disability. He has not tried to access his money since he was last seen, and he may have family in northwest Kansas, possibly around the Colby area. He was last seen at the Gospel Mission in Salina. He left there and has not been seen or heard from since that time. He does not have a cell phone, a vehicle, or any identification. His main mode of transportation was a bicycle he would ride and push around, picking up scrap metal to sell for extra money at Sly Iron and Metal, now All Metal Recycling. Because from my understanding, his pays weren't really good about giving him pocket money for when he was out and about. So that's why he would pick up scrap and sell it, so he would have a few extra bucks in his pocket for when he was out and about. But anyway, again, at the time of his disappearance, he was 69. He's now 72, 5'9", weighs about 175 pounds, has gray hair and blue eyes. If anybody has any information regarding Kenny's disappearance, you know his whereabouts, please call the Salina, Kansas Police Department. It's 785-826-7210 or KBI at 785-296-4017. See if we can't come up with something to kind of give us an idea where Kenny may be so we can find him and get him brought back to where he needs to be. It's just been entirely too long.
Yeah, 3 years, man.
Yeah. Yep. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, not a bad 2022, man, of shows.
Yeah. Yep. We don't have a located safe tonight because I didn't have time to get him the located safe sent and all the rush. And I've got some I have to update the located safe after the show tonight too. So got a little bit of that to do, and I've got a photo to add to a flyer and that kind of thing. So gonna be a busy night before I go to bed. And Kelly says, "Happy New Year, everybody." Yes, hope everybody has a safe and happy New Year. Definitely. I tend to stay home on New Year's Eve and just let everybody else have the streets that night because I just feel safer being at home. I've always been that way. I think I've maybe gone out one or two times in the past, but just decided, you know what? I'm just going to stay home and let the partiers have the streets. I feel better that way.
So I'll be working New Year's Eve during the morning to daytime. I'll get off around 2:30, and then my wife, she works one night a week. She stays with a client, a special needs client. She stays with them for like 12 hours, one night a week, and it's like a second gig that she does just for extra spending money and everything. So she'll do that Saturday night. So she'll spend New Year's Eve at work, and then around 8 a.m. on New Year's Day, I'm going to pick her up. And I have a friend who's in town for like a big Comic-Con type thing. I think he's originally from, I've never met him in person. He's a friend of mine from Denver, and he knows me from listening to like podcasts that I've been a part of and stuff. But we're going to go have breakfast with him. I'm going to meet somebody who, I've kind of like how I just met you that one time for the first time. I'm going to go meet somebody I've been friends with for a long time for the first time. So that's what my New Year. I'm going to ring in a New Year with a friend I've never met in person.
Yeah, I'll just chill out here at home with my daughter. That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, I won't be going out, or it'll be me at home with the two boys. So
I mean, I think I work 10 to 6 Saturday. So, I mean, I'll be home by 6:30-ish.
Yeah.
So then after that, it's just, chill out with my daughter and ring in the New Year and go to bed.
Yeah.
So
that's
going to be it. So, but we will have a located safe next week.
Yeah.
I'll make sure of it. I'll make sure I get them to him next week. I hope Brandon's doing okay because I didn't see him pop up backstage, and I forgot to send my brother the link. So of course he's not backstage, and I didn't see him pop up in comments either. So, and I know he didn't work tonight because he was there this morning. He only worked a few hours this morning, 8:30 to 12:30, I think, and he was gone. So
maybe he forgot.
That could be. I'll have to message him and chew him out.
He missed a good one, man. We had 50 people here when the show started.
Yeah. Yep. With that, we'll go ahead and do our usual. Father, thank you for bringing us together and letting us go through these cases tonight. And hopefully we can get some of these folks brought home. Just need to get these flyers to the right ears and the right hearts so they'll do the right thing and, let people know what they know. We really want to see these folks brought home. But until we meet again next year, this coming Tuesday, everybody, stay safe, stay happy, stay healthy, ring in the new year safely, and we'll see you on Tuesday. Have a good night and amen.